Welcome to the Clark Connection podcast. So great to have you on here with us. I'm your host, Aaron Clark, aka the coach. You know me. And look, guys, we have an awesome episode coming up. Wayne Clark with 7K Metals, one of our sponsors, that is joining us. Super excited to cover everything that we're going to cover. And now that we're a few episodes in, just curious to find out a little bit more about you. What's been your favorite part of the show? Look, drop that in the comments right now as we roll that intro footage.
This is the Clark Connection Podcast, your weekly dose of inspiration and power. We'll dive deep into the stories and strategies that ignite personal growth and entrepreneurial fire. Join us as we empower you to take control, level up your leadership, and build the life you deserve. Get ready to rise, to thrive, and to finally become the leader of your own destiny. Let's go.
All righty, welcome Wayne. Hey guys, we've got on here with us Wayne Clark from 7K Metals. He is one of the top income earners for the company that lives not too far away from me here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Wayne, great to have you on.
Buddy, I'm glad to be here, Mr. Aaron. People need to understand this as they're watching this, that there's obviously two Clarks on the screen. So just with that, you know you're going to get a good show here, right? Because we like to say what's better than one Clark, and it's two Clarks.
And,
two Clarks at the same time. And Aaron, are we related?
But no relation, just a great last name. Just a great last name.
So yeah, so thank you for having me on. I'm excited, and hopefully we can get this in before we lose power.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, it's going sideways right now over here in Baton Rouge. And, you know, I think I told everybody on a previous episode, so I was talking about mentors. And guys, Wayne's one of my mentors that really taught me a whole lot about sales and how to get your point across and being relatable. That wonderful, wonderful guy. And as we were talking about it, Wayne, what would you say was one of your biggest struggles getting started in your business?
In 7K business or another business?
Well, let's start with 7K and then we'll circle back.
One of my biggest struggles starting my 7K business is, one, we started when COVID was just ramping up. So a lot of people was not working. And then two, to meet with people, it was very difficult. But what we did was turn those struggles into a silver lining, right? Meaning I did a lot of phone work in the beginning, and we'll just pick on you, for instance, right? If I was calling you, just said, hey, Aaron, this is Wayne Clark. How's it going? Catch up a bit. How is COVID affecting your family? Well, Wayne, it's kind of tough. We're laid off right now. Don't know when we can go back to work. So don't know how we're going to pay our bills. And then I would just say, well, that's one of the reasons why I was calling, because I actually found a great way to create wealth and make a ton of money with gold and silver. Not sure if you're interested or not, but I got some information I would like to send to you. Turn off Netflix for a few minutes and I'll call you back in 30 minutes. Is that okay? And everybody would say, yeah, that is fine. Send it to me. And so I would just send them the information and then call them back in 30 minutes, follow up. And the biggest question or concern I got from everybody was, Wayne, this looks too good to be true, right? And I would ask them, why do you say that? And they're like, well, you actually get physical gold and silver, right? This is a 100-ounce silver bar, right? This is a 10-ounce majestic eagle. I actually call it big sexy because look at the talons on that, right? So you actually get physical gold and silver. So here in the US, we love the paper dollar, right? Paper dollar is almighty, but it's really gold and silver, right? That's the almighty. Everything goes back to gold and silver, and that's biblical there. So once I get people comfortable with owning physical assets, gold and silver, then it's an easy conversation after that.
Now, and so you said silver lining, pun intended on that one?
No pun intended.
And so it started during COVID. So yeah, definitely a challenge there. Why? What's so important about having physical gold and silver? Why would somebody need to have that?
Well, in 1971, Nixon took us off the gold standard, meaning that the paper dollar used to be backed by gold and silver. 1971, because he was spending so much money on the Vietnam War. A lot of these other countries, instead of wanting paper dollars sent to them, they started demanding their gold because they did not believe that the United States had all of the gold to back all the dollars that Nixon was printing up. So that's when Nixon says, okay, we're going to stop the gold standard. And that put us on today's fiat currency system, which means that there is nothing backing our paper dollar. So they can just print paper dollars as much as they want and nothing is backing it. So back when the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, the dollar bill was worth $1. Today, it's worth about 2 cents. So it takes more dollars to buy the same thing that used to cost $1. You got to spend more dollars because it's worth less to buy the same thing, right? So, for instance, in 1965, 2,000 ounces of silver was worth $2,000. All right, that same $2,000 or 2,000 ounces would have bought you a Ford Mustang in 1965. Fast forward to today, that same $2,000 would not even be enough for the down payment, right? You can probably buy maybe your 4 wheels, if that. But if you had that same 2,000 ounces of silver, it would buy you 2 Mustangs today with today's prices. So gold and silver is a great way to protect yourself against bad government decisions. And what we teach people here is, gold and silver, kind of like these products here, physical gold and silver. I don't know if you can see it. These is your defensive strategy against bad government decisions. So this protects your wealth. And 7K is also in the collectible coin industry, right? This increases your wealth. So gold and silver bullion, defensive strategy, protects your wealth. It's the collectible coins that increases your wealth. And people's like, well, how does that work, Wayne? Well, take this coin, for instance, right? Paid $3,600 for that 1 ounce gold coin. If I got in a jam and needed to sell it, I could sell it for $7,000 right now. Now, here's the cool thing. In 1981, the U.S. Treasury came out with their list of reportable coins, right? The Silver Eagle that Ronald Reagan introduced didn't come out till 1986.
Yeah, I was about to say that your light's making it hard to see it, but
yeah. So the U.S. Treasury did not update the list since the list was first came out in 1981. And so, so all that means is all of the coins that I purchase, right, I get to write off on my taxes as a business expense. But if I decide to liquidate it, because they're non-reportable, there's no capital gains. And guys, let me make this disclaimer. I'm not a financial planner or a CPA. This is just something I've learned over the last 4.5 years, getting my financial education out there. And so why do I like physical assets was your original question before I went off into the weeds there. It's all about, everything I was taught was, if you don't hold it, you don't own it, right? So it's all about physical assets, gold and silver, precious metals, right? Houses, rental properties, right? Those are all physical assets. Cows, that's a physical asset. If nothing else, you can kill the cow and have food, right? So those are all physical assets. Whereas if you have a lot of your portfolio, right? Let's say in the stock market, it's out there in the internet world. You don't hold it, you don't own it. And those people in the Great Depression figured this thing out really quick. right? When the Great Depression happened in late 20s, early 30s, people went to bed with a lot of money. They woke up dead broke, right? But what they don't tell you is it took at least 15 years for those people to get back to where they was before the stock market crashed during the Great Depression. We are heading into that within the next 5 years. So not a good
Yeah.
feeling for a lot of people.
No, not a good feeling at all. And so you were saying, it protects us against the bad government decisions. So I'm assuming that's stuff like inflation and all that fun stuff that you hear about on the news today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what fake news is telling people is that we're $34 trillion in debt, right? But it's really 134 trillion, because what they don't take into account is we still got to pay a lot of people Social Security, right? There is not enough people being born, kids being born and being put into the workforce, right, as they get
Right.
older, to keep up with Social Security and the baby boomers. Starting with the baby boomers class, that's the first generation to figure out that the ERISA Act of 1974 was a bunch of bull, meaning that that's when the 401ks and all that came out. And starting with that baby boomer class, there is 10,000 baby boomers every day right now turning 65 years old. And what they're finding out is that even if they bought into the ERISA Act, put everything they got into the 401ks, it's not enough money. It's not keeping up with inflation. Social Security is broke, right? Medicare is broke. So all of these government agencies that's supposed to protect us or take care of us as we get older is not there. They're all broke. And then, because of modern medicine, people are living longer, right? So you take all of those factors and you got a dead system that cannot sustain our seniors. So,
Right.
so what do you do, right? You create another stream of income to sustain you for the rest of your life. And that's what got me excited about 7K. When I took a look at 7K from an old real estate buddy of mine, what I saw was a way of making an extra 12,500 a week. And I had to get the calculator out, Aaron. My math ain't good, right? Graduating from Baker High, but that's $650,000 a year. And at the time, because of a flood here in Baton Rouge, being a realtor, a real estate broker at the time, I was broke after the flood. I accumulated a lot of credit card debt, trying to keep my company afloat. No pun intended.
Now, the
16
pun
of
was
my
definitely intended there.
Yep. 16 of my 22 agents flooded. So from 2016 to 2020, I accumulated close to $90,000 in credit card debt just trying to keep my company going. And so when I saw 7K Metals, the only thing I wanted to know from my real estate buddy, Bob, was he making money with this company? And what he told me just blew me away. He said, Wayne, he said, I'm 73 years old, retired chemical engineer with an MBA, fiddling with real estate, fiddling with 7K. In 2019, he made $90,000 part-time. And he said, if you let me teach you what I've learned about this industry, he said, I promise you by the end of the year, you'll be making at least $2,000 a week, if not more. And then when the company goes international within the next couple of years, he said, your checks will go to $10, $20, $30,000 a week. And you know what I told Bob? I told him, I said, Bob, I'm not that greedy. I'll take any of those numbers on a monthly basis. It don't have to be weekly.
Right.
So guys, I started my 7K business February 15th, 2020, just sharing this awesome opportunity with everybody I came in contact with. First week made that $2,000. And then less than 2 years, Aaron, paid off all of that credit card debt. And then went ahead and paid off the house 17 years early. So I tell people it's a good feeling to be able to roll over in the morning instead of having to roll out and go to work.
Right. Now you mentioned that doing it part-time. Now, were you able to do this part-time or were you working this full-time?
I was full time. Remember, my real estate market flooded. Right, I'm ashamed to say, as a real estate broker, I know how to gut a house. Right,
Mhm.
we did a lot of that back in the day. But I had nothing but time. No houses to sell. I had nothing but time, so I just called everybody on my phone, check in on them, see how COVID was affecting them, and seeing if they was open to taking a look at what I was doing to be able to pay my bills. And I just went through the numbers. Sales is just numbers, right? And so people ask me all the time, Wayne, how do you market 7K? Right? And my standard answer is massively, right? So
No, that's good. That's good.
point is whatever system you're working in your sales business, do a lot of it. Sales is just numbers. So the faster you go through the numbers, the faster you're going to make sales.
Yeah, I was about to say the old 10X by Uncle G.
Uncle G from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Yep. I'll say whatever you think you need to do, multiply it by 10.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And I liked that. How do you market? Massively,
Yep.
massively. And so you'd mentioned the real estate. Now, was that your first business, the entrepreneurial venture? That's one of the things I like to focus on is personal growth, leadership, and then entrepreneurs. Now, was that the first entrepreneurial venture, or was there something before that?
Uh, it's actually started 50 years ago. I'm 59 now. Right. So
Still young.
when so 9 years old, living in Guam with my dad. He was in the
Okay.
Navy, and just riding my bike through the subdivision, found an old self-propelled lawnmower one sailor was throwing away. So I drug it home. My dad helped me get it running, and then I pulled that behind my bike and went house to house cutting grass, and had so many houses that ended up having to buy a little riding lawnmower that would fit in my dad's pickup truck, and then hired my brother to weed eat while I rode around in the lawnmower. And then I paid my dad to drive us around the base. So that was my first taste of entrepreneurship. And so that was at 9 years old. 3 years later, we moved to Long Beach, California. And before school, in the dark, I'm delivering newspapers. So
Man.
so I've always found a way to make money on my own. And so
And so going back to the 9 years old, what was it that made you or got you to go, I'm going to go start cutting grass to earn money, like income? What was it what was 9-year-old Wayne thinking?
9-year-old Wayne was thinking that when I did something wrong and I got punished by my parents and they took my allowance away, that was not going to work out. Right. So I had to figure out a way to make my own money. Right. I could be grounded to the house because I needed the roof. Right. But I needed a way to make my own money that my parents couldn't take away from me. And so it got to the point where money has never been an issue for me. I always found a way to make money. And and what people don't realize, right, is we live in the greatest country in the world for opportunities. I mean, this is why so many immigrants want to come to this country, because there is endless amounts of opportunities here. Whether you want to cut grass, clean houses, do whatever, there is a way to make some money here if you don't mind doing work. Right? So question is figure out what you're passionate about and find a way to monetize that. And then you'll never work a day in your life.
And so how did your customers feel whenever you're moving from Guam to back to the States?
I don't know. I didn't keep up with them.
You didn't keep up with them?
I didn't keep up with them. Sure, that was in the 70s, late 70s, probably before you were even born.
I don't know what. There was a time before I was born?
Yes, Wayne's World.
Oh, in Wayne's World.
In Wayne's World, that's right.
Sounds like an interesting place. I may have to go there once.
Yep.
All right. And so you move back, and then Did you have another? Did you try another venture then when you got back, or was it just pretty much
Well,
straight into school? Or
fast forward, went through high school and all that, joined the Navy. But it wasn't until I got out of the Navy and I was working for another company. They were an environmental safety type company. And we ended up, and I ran that office here in Baton Rouge. And out of 11 offices, we was the number one company as far as profitability. And so with that, I had a lot of people coming at me to start my own company. So in
okay,
the early 2000s, I actually started Clark Safety and had some so-called buddies / investors that put up the money. I ran the company, and in less than 6 months, paid all that debt back to our investors. And so,
oh nice.
but so very, very profitable, but it took a lot of time. And
Hmm.
so that took a toll on a lot of things, one of them being the marriage, right? But it was through that process there that, I found out that my partners was not the partners I thought they were. They were not legit. So we ended up dissolving the company. They bought me out, and then end up getting into real estate, and then from real estate into 7K Metals.
Okay, and so now with starting Clark Safety, you talked about getting investors, or you had to get a group of people to invest. What were steps that you had to do for that? Like how did that come about? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So my investors actually approached me and said, "Look, we want to start our own safety company and have you run it, and we'll give you partnership into it." And so we come together and formulated our business plan, what we wanted to target, our target market, and went after that. And then we figured out, okay, what type of equipment we're going to need to go after that. And we focused on really on the turnaround market in the plants, and
Okay.
focus on safety supplies and safety equipment and that type stuff, and how much all that stuff would cost. And so got investors to put up the money for me to go buy all of that stuff. And then all I had to do was go out there and get the jobs and then implement the jobs. And, so it's, but you got to have a mindset of what you want the end result to look like, right? So you got to have a business plan and then work the business plan, in reverse. All right. So we
Hmm.
want have this type of equipment. This is the market we're going after. So I need this type of equipment. This is what it's going to cost, right? And this is how long it's going to take to get the equipment in, going after all these different jobs. So we had a strategy and we implemented the strategy and it worked out. And it same thing with the real estate company, and then now with 7K.
Right.
Everything here in 7K, it's a business, right? It's a home-based business, right? But I have all the same tax advantages as a traditional business without all of the overhead.
Mm.
And so
And I
because
was
I
actually about to ask that. Like what,
and
so
so
you said you've got the home-based business, so it's like having a business without all the overhead. Elaborate
That's
on that a
correct.
little bit more.
So my real estate company, it was a traditional brick and mortar real estate company. I bought a building, all right, and then so you got with that building, you got insurance, taxes, electricity, everything with owning the building. Um, with real estate, then you got to have your broker license, all your dues and all that for being in business, and then a lot
Hmm.
of E&O insurance for all of that. So all of that is expenses. Well, here in 7K, it's set up on a membership model. So you get a membership kind of like Sam's Club or Costco. And if you get the annual membership, you never have to pay for it ever again. It's a lifetime membership. And with that membership, I have all the same tax advantages as my real estate company, but I don't have all of the exposure, if that makes sense. The
Yeah.
only exposure I have is one, grabbing a membership, and then 2, getting a collectible coin every month that I get to write off of my taxes, right? But I will caution people, right? When you join a company like 7K, you're not allowed to go on vacations no more. You're not allowed to go on dinner dates with your family. What you'll do is
why is that?
you'll take business trips, have business meals.
Makes a
So
lot of sense.
what we teach people here is how to have money working for you. And again, guys, I'm not a CPA or a financial planner. I like to tell myself that, or tell everyone, I'm a wealth strategist, right? You know, I got different strategies for helping people create wealth in the gold and silver space.
All right. So so you've got all the different tax advantages. So it sounds like pretty much the only thing you really need to get going in 7K is just the internet or a phone. They just
Really a phone. That's all you need. Because remember, when I got started, it was during COVID. So I'm sitting in my office. I had to get out of the house. So I do recommend having a place to go and do work, even if it's at a Starbucks, just to get out of the house, right? But, you know, I would just come sit in my chair and just go through my phone A to Z and just call people and check in on them. And then, you know, I got some videos that the company puts out. I got them saved on my phone. All I do is shoot people the videos, let them learn more about 7K and gold and silver and why gold and silver, and then call them back and get all the questions answered.
right. And so that kind of you were saying something, a quote earlier, whenever me and you were just chit chatting before. That sounds like, you know, whenever you were getting started, you were talking about something about a quote by listening to your gut or what have you. That
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the
So
COVID.
yeah, so I tell people in business, right, or just about any major decision in life, you need to go with your gut, right? Because I tell people your gut is usually right all the time. And I like to tell people that's God telling you something, right? If you get a good gut feeling, that's God saying, hey, you need to go for this, right? But if you're getting a bad gut feeling, that's God saying, hey, I wouldn't recommend it. It's going to hurt. And so, you know, so a funny story, when I joined 7K, my wife, I came home and told her, I said, babe, just joined 7K. And she says, tell me that's not one of those things. And I said, not sure what that means. And she says, yeah, I said, it is a gold and silver business. And I said, it's all about what I do. And she says, why can't you just go get a job at Walmart pushing buggies, right? You know, she's been an employee-minded person she's had one job for 35 years. So all she knows is punching a time clock, getting a paycheck. And so I told her, I said, babe, I said, there is no company out there that's going to hire a 50-some-year-old man that's going to get us out of a $90,000 credit card hole that we're in during COVID. I said, so I'm doing 7K. I said, don't want you to give me any grief about it, right? And let's reevaluate our situation at the end of the year. Remember, this is February 15th, 2020. So she said, okay. Well, first week made $2,000. And I remember it was Sunday night. I told her, hey, babe, we just made $2,000. She said, huh. She said, you put me into that business, right? I said, yeah. She said, well, I should have a coin. I said, you do? She said, well, I want to see my coin. Well, this was 11 o'clock Sunday night. I'm trying to go to sleep. And that's when my wife wants to talk. So I get out of bed, go to the safe and grab a coin. I'm like, here's your coin. And she looks at it and said, oh, that's pretty. And she said, I'm going to bed. So a couple weeks later, I let her know that we won this 100-ounce silver bar worth about $2,800 now. And she said, that's exciting. She said, you know, what else is happening in our business? Right? Key word. It went from my business to our business.
Very key word.
So after 4.5 years, my wife loved 7K, and The reason being is the people here are real and authentic. People here are not fake. There's no hype. It's gold and silver. Do you want gold and silver? Yes or no? Do you want to make some extra money? Yes or no? How more real is that? So
Yeah.
we don't have to come across as used car salesmen, as other sales type companies are.
Right. And I think one of the key things you just said there too was sometimes with that spouse, I've said it before that that's the most important business decision you'll make. That it's the person you marry. That, but sometimes you even got to sell to your spouse to get
Yeah,
them to buy into the dream of what you're trying to do.
yeah. And even if they don't buy into it, they need to at least trust you enough to go with your gut, right?
Hmm.
My wife didn't buy into 7K, but she bought into me. And so a lot of spouses, though, want to play the employee game, right? And there's nothing wrong with having an employee mindset, but it's a fixed mindset, right? Where their goals and dreams revolves around an hourly pay. Whereas an entrepreneur, there's no limits to how much money we can make when we have a leveraged income like we do here in 7K. And so,
Hmm.
you know, your spouse doesn't need to support you or support what you're doing, but they definitely don't need to hinder what you're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, all you're trying to do, most spouses uh, are just trying to make it better for the family, right? So I like
Hmm.
this one objection I get, right, when I'm talking. We'll pick on the guys. The guys were like, "I need to go home and talk to my wife." I'm like, dude, I just showed you how to make 12,500 a week, and you need to go get permission from your wife. I said, did you wake her up this morning and say, baby, can I go to work? They're like, no. I said, then you're not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone that is entrepreneurial minded, not going to have their spouse telling them when they can jump and not jump. I just showed you the way to get yourself and your family financially free, and you need to go get permission. I said, this is not the right business for you. I said, but I do have some books you can read to get you going in the right direction, because
Yeah.
personal development in any type of entrepreneurial business is huge. A lot of people don't realize that all of the top Fortune 500 CEOs spend more time on personal development, right? Building themselves up than they do running their own companies. And people's like, well, that don't make sense. Well, think about this. If they are working on themselves becoming more, then they can attract better quality leaders, which frees up their time from having to run the company because they got great leaders that do that for them.
Hmm.
That is the
Yep. Average
secret
CEO.
sauce to entrepreneurship, is personal development.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. $52 a year is what they say on average a
Yeah.
CEO reads. And so, Wayne, just a couple more questions. So one, you're working for yourself. What would you say is your biggest daily struggle?
My
Because
biggest
I feel like that
daily
would be
struggle.
something a lot of people, when you move out on your own, just the daily struggle.
Well, the daily struggle for a lot of people is creating your daily method of operation, your daily habits. Because for what I do, a lot of people are in a direct sales type business part-time. So
Hmm.
how do you fit 7K, right, for instance, into your everyday life, right? So that is a struggle that I help a lot of folks with, right? It may be, hey, while you're in the carpool line, make a call to somebody and share 7K with them, gold and silver. All right. Or maybe while you're, at a soccer game, you can do a little bit of phone work while you're there. So find ways in the nooks and crannies of your daily schedule to fit 7K in. My daily struggle is Wayne is very comfortable now, right? And this, I think, is a struggle for a lot of people that's comfortable in life, is they don't take 7K serious. They treat it like a hobby. So because they treat it like a hobby, it pays them like a hobby. So my daily struggle is to stay broke up here. to where I'm always fired up, always working and building my business, right? Because I got
Mhm.
right up here above my computer. I will do today what others won't, so I can do tomorrow what others can't. A lot of people I'm running into, uh, they think they're going to retire, or they're finding out that they should be retired and they can't, right?
Mhm.
59 years old today, I can walk away from 7K, and the business I built will sustain me till I die.
Man, awesome, awesome.
So
It's-
it's a beautiful thing.
Yep. So two more questions. Uh, what's your why? Why does Wayne get up and do what Wayne does every day?
Wayne has 5 grandkids now, right? So that is my biggest why. But the other part of that is I've been blessed here in 7K. So one of my biggest whys there is to help as many people as I can create wealth and make a lot of money here with 7K.
And then for those who are trying to start their own business, they're wanting to do it. What advice would you give to somebody who's wanting to start their own business?
I would say personal development is huge, right? So you've got to become more to attract more. If you're starting a traditional business or even a 7K business, right? Get the facts, learn everything you can about that type of business, the pros and the cons, and then never quit. So many people quit their journey right when they're about to get to the finish line. If that makes sense. So
All the time.
decide what you're going to do, roll with it, and don't quit.
So I'm gonna throw another one out there. So talk you threw in personal growth, and then I know you got to go. Now, what is Wayne reading right now? What does anybody else need to pick up and read?
Well, there's several books, right? And I think you gave me this one book, Relentless by Tim S. Grover.
Yes,
If you
awesome
need a
book.
book to kick you in the butt and get your mindset right, this is the ultimate book, Relentless by Tim S. Grover. I just recently finished winning his second book, Winning.
I
And
hadn't read that
then
one yet. I have it, but I hadn't read it.
read that one. Anything for financial education, you want to read Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then his other book,
Mm,
Prophecy.
mm.
And then definitely any of Grant Cardone's books.
I'll say all good. All are good. So what's Wayne reading right now?
Wayne just got done reading One More, The Power of One More by Ed Mylett.
All right. So we got some good stuff out there. Wayne, before we hop off, how do people get in touch with you? If they want to get their own 7K business going, how do they reach you?
They can call me or text me. My number is 225-939-9129, or send me an email, wayne@wayneclarkbr.com.
Awesome. And we're going to make sure we put all of that info in the description below, that to reach out to Wayne, that to protect yourself from what type of decisions the government makes?
Bad government decisions.
Bad
Right.
government decisions. Wayne, I appreciate you hopping on, and we'll talk at you soon. What an awesome episode. Wasn't Wayne amazing? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm sitting here, I got a page full of notes, that just being able to talk, that his energy, his enthusiasm, his passion that for entrepreneurship, personal growth was definitely felt. Things that we talked about. We talked about protecting your wealth and growing your wealth with gold and silver. That entrepreneurship, leadership, and personal growth, and a lot of stuff in between. And look, if you're looking to get started with gold and silver, then maybe you're thinking about joining 7K metals from this, they call Wayne up. All of his information is below. He's extremely knowledgeable. He's a wonderful guy. That you won't regret calling him. They reach out to him, tell him Coach Clark sent you, and I promise that you will be down the path that to protecting your family for generations to come. That one of the takeaways that I had from here, guys, that is that you can create that your own situation for you and your business, whatever it is. Wayne was talking about he got his business started and really started growing his gold and silver business that in the height of 2020, that joining in February of 2020, and then was able to grow and build it that to right now, he's a top income earner in that business. And it was all because of his mental game. And he talked about that a lot, that how important it is that to continue to grow yourself and to know your product, to know what you're selling, to know whatever it is. And if you're listening and saying, I'm not in sales, well, yeah, you are. Everybody is in sales. Everything is sales. That right now that if you're saying that, you're trying to sell me that you don't like sales, that you're not in sales. Sales, all it is just creating awareness. It's educating. That's all it is. That's what sales is. And Wayne talked about that just how important it was to be mentally tougher, to grow himself mentally, so he could get to where he is that right now and experiencing that all there is. And guys, keep in mind, he also said that he started his entrepreneurial journey 50 years ago at 9 years old. 50 years ago at 9 years old is when he had his first entrepreneurial idea. Several things along the way. He talked about them that moving into real estate and then going on into 7K metals. That you can experience and do a lot. So don't put limitations on yourself. That's one of the things I took away. Your biggest limitation in life is you. You are what holds yourself back. And so, guys, if you're not sure how to grow yourself, if you're not sure, like, what are my next steps? What do I need to read? What do I need to watch, listen to, fill in the blank? Aaron, how do I get better? They reach out to me. Look, all of my information is below. It's in the contact. They reach out to me. You can reach me through my website. That it has my cell phone number on there. It has my email on there that you can fill out a form and I will get back in touch with you within 24 to 48 hours. I want to help you get this going and growing. And remember, you don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great. And so, guys, once again, thanks for joining on an amazing episode, and I will see you on the next Clark Connection Podcast. Thanks for listening to the Clark Connection Podcast, where my goal is to add value to you. Make sure you like and follow the show. You can also connect with me via my website, coachaclark.com, or on all socials at coach_A_Clark. The links are in the description. Huge thanks to my sponsors, Wayne with 7K Metal Associates, Bobbie at A Comfy Quest LLC, and Andrew at Automate Integrate Professional Services. We look forward to bringing you more great content. See you next week.